Staying in Durban, it's hosting the Africa Travel Indaba following the devastating floods in the province of KZN. KZN authorities are confident the conference can proceed without a hitch. The trade show gives African countries an opportunity to showcase their premier experiences and tourism products to a global audience. So how are visitors finding the province as mop-up operations and search and rescue or recovery operations continue? Let's go to Lindokuhle Xulu, who is at the ICC in Durban attending that Indaba. Lindo, I just wonder what SA Tourism is saying. Okay.
There will be some excitement in terms of the fact that after 2 years facing COVID-19 regulations, a setting like this can now take place. There are obviously concerns that are coming into the fore. One of them is also the recovery of the province of KwaZulu-Natal when it comes to the devastation of the floods. And we just want to bring in Ubaba Uthemba Kumar just to get a sense, Mkhulu, as the CEO of SAT, in terms of this recovery that you are speaking about. Obviously, there's been a huge impact when it comes to the floods, but it's not just floods. There were unrest at some point, but there was also COVID-19. Just give us a sense of the sector as well as in terms of the plans of trying to recover.
So 2 years ago, the world went into lockdown from a COVID-19 standpoint. 2 weeks ago, this province went into lockdown, a form of lockdown due to the floods. But because we are Africans, because we are South Africans, we are resilient, the best of us comes out when our back is against the wall. We realize that the most compassionate, the most committed thing that we can do is to bring Africa's Travel Indaba to Durban, make sure that the business inflow helps to recover the businesses that have been adversely affected, the livelihoods that have been adversely impacted, and to make sure that just as a tourism sector, because Africa's Travel Indaba is the third largest leisure travel show in the world and the biggest on the African continent. So it was absolutely imperative that the show must go on, and we are so excited. I mean, if I can give you some statistics, we have got over 22,000 meetings between buyers and exhibitors in order to drive tourism recovery. We've got on the top floor there speed marketing, where we've taken SMMEs that would not normally have access to the big buyers, around the world, and they get, their opportunity to pitch their product, to the big buyer, buying consortiums around the world. So we're giving SMMEs market access and making sure that the tourism recovery is not just for the core, tourism product, but that also the SMMEs get an opportunity, to drive their businesses forward.
Will you also be using this opportunity to, in fact, maybe try and lobby some, finances for KwaZulu-Natal? We do know that government has, in fact, set aside money for the province to recover. But in terms of using this particular platform where you have all of these international companies, you have these big buyers and consortiums that you're speaking about, in terms of, trying to lobby for some of the donations that we've been seeing from NGOs, is that something that's going to be happening? I think I saw a stall somewhere that said the donations for KwaZulu-Natal, but what are some of the efforts around that?
So the donations and the relief fund is driven by the national government in collaboration with the provincial government and the city. So that is, where that is being driven. Our mandate as South African tourism is to market the country, to drive the actual commercial engine of the tourism sector, to make sure that people begin to transact. And I know that relief is required, and I know that at times, you need to donate and funds in order to bring people out of, an adverse situation. But I also believe that South Africans are resilient, resourceful, and innovative. For example, in the 2 years of lockdown, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, yes, some businesses shut down, but there are numerous other businesses, hotel groups, entertainment groups, restaurants, that were born in the middle of the COVID-19 lockdown. And I believe that even from the floods, we're going to see new and fresh product that is going to come up, which constantly refreshes the offering that we make to the world. And I believe that that is the most dignified, the most resilient, the most sustainable way in which we can support recovery of tourism in the province.
Just very quickly, a last question from myself. There are lots of people that are thinking twice about coming to KwaZulu-Natal or even traveling because of what they've seen, the devastating scenes. But this particular event then seeks to perhaps even show that it is still an accessible place, it is still a place to visit, destination of choice, some may say. So perhaps just a message then to those that are doubtful about actually visiting the province, because you did say that while there are donations, but also to stimulate that economic activity is something that you want. But give us a sense in terms of someone who's out there who doesn't want to travel, who's not sure whether they should travel to KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you so much, and let me look straight at camera. You know, when a story is being covered by the media around the floods, that is where the lens is pointed. But what it doesn't mean is that the entire place is falling apart. The weekend of the Easter holidays, the Durban, Joint Organizing Committee put together infrastructure anticipating all the holiday makers that are going to come in for the Easter holiday. So those contingency plans were already on the ground. So after the floods impact had happened, those particular measures kicked in, and the beaches have been cleaned, pretty much, and the city has really pulled together, and the people of KZN have really pulled together, and the rest of South Africa has joined in to support them. I'm standing in the middle of the ICC in Durban. Everything here works. The hotels that we stay in, everything works. Even the B&Bs where some people are staying, everything works. I'm saying to you that this city is still standing in spite of the impact that has, that it endured. Come to Durban, come to eThekwini, come to KZN, come to South Africa. This country is amazing, and you'll have a great, 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 great time in safety with all of the facilities in place. Right. Thank you very much.
We'll leave it there for now before you take my job as well. Thank you so much, Baba Uthemba Khumalo, just giving us a sense really of the fact that KZN remains functional in its recovery state, but he's talking about the fact that yes, at some point there are some donations that are being lobbied towards relief, bringing relief to people, but at the same time, equally, he says that an important part of this would also be to stimulate economic activity so that they'll be able to have opportunities that will help people in terms of this recovery state. So those are some of the sentiments that are being shared here in at the ICC in the Africa Travel Indaba.
All right, Lindokuhle Xulu at the ICC in Durban. Let's leave it there for now. All right, now Sibang is still